Hey everyone, what's going on? It's 2 minutes to review. It's Matt.
And it's Zach.
Longest album review in under 2 minutes wins. This one, a very big album coming out this year. You've clicked the picture. It is the brand new one from Coheed and Cambria.
I dare you to say the title 5 times in a row real fast. I dare you. I dare you.
Hell no, because we're on a podcast and people are going to criticize me. Hell no, because we're on a podcast and people are going to criticize me.
We're already going to move on. I'll say it then. Fine. I won't do it 5 times in a row. But Vaxis Act 2, A Window of the Waking Mind. My God, could they come up with a longer title? Actually, yes, they could. Good Apollo, I'm Burning Star like that. It was so long ass title. But yes, their 10th studio album. And it's kind of hard to believe a few things. First off, that they've actually been doing this now, creating some interesting concept albums now for 20 years, with the exception of one album before everyone gets on me. They've really been consistent in regards to keeping with the Amory Wars storyline for 20 years. Holy cow. In fact, Matt, are you ready to feel old?
I guess.
Yeah, guess what? A few albums are celebrating anniversaries from Coheed. The Second Stage Turbine Blade came out 20 years ago this year. Yuck, that makes me feel old. Oh, but we're not done. We're not done, sir. No. Also, celebrating 15 years, Good Apollo, I'm Burning Star, Volume 2, that's the long title. The short one, No World for Tomorrow, which is actually my favorite Coheed album and a really underrated gem. Not to bring everyone down, but that had the guest drumming appearance of Taylor Hawkins, who filled in for them on that album. That celebrates 15 years. And then even if you want to keep going down the rabbit hole of feeling old, The Aftermath Ascension came out in 2012. So that celebrates 10 years. Holy cow. And, you know, they're a band, Coheed and Cambria, that I always forget how much I actually love. They really are a fine balance between some awesome rock songs, a little bit of progginess and just technicality, and just, as we mentioned, the loose, just the concept album stuff that it's very rare to see modern bands really stay true to that, but also do it pretty well. And, you know, I'm sure if you're listening to this, you're part of the diehard fan base of Coheed and Cambria, or you got to kind of turn on to them when you saw them opening for some random ass metal band. You're like, I shouldn't like this, but I really do, and I don't understand how. So we decided, let's give Vaxis Act 2 a listen. We can do the shortened one. But before we get into our thoughts on the album, a special shout out to Lucky 13 Beard Co.
So they've been a sponsor here on the podcast for a while. If you have never tried a Beard Balm or oil before, you owe it to yourself to make yourself feel good, smell epic, and we're helping you with that because we have partnered with the guys over Lucky 13 to come up with our own beard oil, the Lemmy. And it's everything that Lemmy from Motorhead was all about. A little bit of tobacco, a little bit of leather, a little bit of cola, and bourbon. This is probably one of the best smelling beard oils that I've ever smelled, and I've used a lot of them. I've been trying to find ones that, you know, combine great smells and leaves your beard feeling good, but not like overly oily or greasy. And Lucky 13, they've really knocked it out of the park. So we're going to give you also an additional 10% off anything that you throw in your cart. So head on over to Lucky 13, the number beardco.com. Like I said, put anything in your cart that they've got in the store. Use the code EFP10 at checkout. You get the 10% off, and you're going to love the way you feel, love the way you smell. Give it a shot, and if the Lemmy isn't for you, there's plenty of other scents that Ed and the guys have over there at Lucky 13. They've got Tobacco Vanilla, another one of my favorites. If you like smelling like the outdoors, he's got a great one for game day. It smells just like fresh cut grass. And I think there's some leather in there as well. If you want to just smell like cola, they've got cherry cola, regular cola. There's so many scents. I can't possibly name them all. So head on over to Lucky13beardco.com. Use the code EFP10 at checkout. Get yourself some beard balms and oils. You are not going to regret it.
So, Matt, I'm going to be a jerk.
Oh, you want to go first?
I want to go first this time.
I knew that only lasted once. Okay.
I've offered a few times. Thank you very much.
If you can count how many times, I haven't done nearly enough first.
At least a dozen. And we've done many of these episodes. Anyway, count me down, fool.
3, 2, 1, go.
So this is a rare instance of an album being half extremely fulfilling and half frustratingly disappointing. So the fulfilling part, the singles Comatose, Shoulders, and Liar's Club I mean, they really show Coheed excelling at what they do, creating earworm rock songs with just a slaver of prog and technicality of it. But then you get songs like A Disappearing Act and Our Love that, I mean, I don't blame a band for trying to incorporate new sounds and whatnot, but they really just sound like watered down electronica pop. And it's frustrating because if they had actually stuck to using, I hate to say real instruments because that makes me sound like a dick, but if they had stuck to actually making it guitar parts and actual instrumentation, it could sound like pretty cool, awesome rock songs. But instead, it just sounds like blah, overproduced Claudio's electronic project. So it's just frustrating. It's like, oh, no, this is not what I want. But you know what? All of the sins of this album are pretty much forgiven when you listen to the album's final 8-minute plus closer. And I'm talking about, of course, The Window of the Walking Mind. I'm telling you, this was probably the first time in a long time Coheed had me going, oh shit, I'm not going to finish the curse word. It was just, I was blown away, and it captured everything that the band excels at. The incorporation of strings, the acoustic rhythms overlaying with the electric guitar, just the melodicness, the song structure, the epic, almost borderline Queen with more distortion. It was just an incredible song that really reaffirmed, man, when Coheed wants to, they really can still kick freaking ass. So in summation, you're definitely going to find things on this album that you'll enjoy and love. Every Coheed album has that. As long as you don't mind going through a few questionable, I don't want to say turds, but a few questionable things that make you go, really, Coheed?
The time has been locked in.
Locked in and folded in a safe. I'm going to go for 3.5. Because this is something I noted with the whole electronic elements. I've noticed this when they did Vaxis I on Heavenly Creatures. There's some really cool song ideas, but for whatever reason, like it was just a little too, I don't even say overproduced, but it was definitely a little bit more. I mean, I love Claudio, but you can tell that he was trying to add in some more electronic elements and took away the band aspect. And that's something that Coheed really excels at. I think, thankfully, there's plenty. I mean, Comatose, that single alone, oh my God, that will make any diehard Coheed fan happy. And even some metal fans. I mean, that there's during the chorus, the drum gallop that almost reminded me of Iron Maiden. I mean, there's definitely a lot of moments that make you go, okay, yeah, this is why I love Coheed and Cambria. And like I said, literally, if Window of the Walking Mind was the only thing on this album, I would be so happy. That song is phenomenal, and I really cannot wait for people to hear it. Like, in fact, I'm going to go ahead and start plugging before I do my normal plug. Once you hear that song, tell us what you think of it on social media, because I want to just make sure I'm not going crazy, that maybe I'm not the only one hearing it. I think it's a phenomenal song, and I'm dying to hear what other people think too. In fact, there's one gentleman in front of me who I know has heard it. So let me know, Matt, when you're ready to give your 2 cents.
Oh, you're talking about me.
I'm talking about you.
Oh, okay.
Don't imagine.
Okay.
I don't care what the imaginary frog in the corner here has to think. He's made it clear that he didn't want to participate. And yes, I am hallucinating because I have twin toddlers who won't let us sleep at night.
Well, if that's the case.
Getting personal here.
All right. When you're ready. Count me in.
3, 2, 1, go.
So, like Zach already alluded to, this album is very heavily into the electronic elements. I don't think they necessarily subtract as much from the album as maybe Zach thinks that they did. I actually thought that it kept the album a little bit interesting from that perspective. However, I will say that I do get some old school Coheed vibes on this album from albums like Keeping in Secrets of Silent Earth 3, in a way that's better produced and maybe with a little bit more technical prowess. Like if you listen to Rise Nanea, I'm hoping I'm saying that right, but I'm probably not. Cut the cord. There we go. We'll say the short name of the song. Anyway, one thing that really kind of struck me is like, on the song Ladder of Supremacy, the intro kind of throws it back to old school Black Sabbath by Black Sabbath. And That took me by surprise. But overall, I mean, the album musically is just Coheed being Coheed and kind of just trying to extend that Coheed uh, technicality, and I think that they're trying to take that now into the electronic realm a little bit, maybe too much, but like I said, it still doesn't subtract in my opinion. However, one of the biggest things for me that I don't like about the album, and it just makes me not want to listen to the album, is the cover art. I just look at it and I keep thinking Stranger Things, and I know people are gonna say, "What are you, crazy?" I just never got into it, but with that in mind, I still like the album. It was a good album from Coheed, and I'm very curious to see where they take their sound next.
So before we go into your star rating, really, you don't like Stranger Things?
I never got into it. Like, I started to watch the first season when it first came out, and I got to a point where I was saying, well, where are we going? What's the
So
point of this?
you have no idea what's been going on in the news with Kate Bush and the show then.
The last thing that I know about Stranger Things is that there was somebody, I think, named 11, and I think they had something to do with Egos.
My goodness, dude, you are missing out. That's all I'm gonna say. You're missing out. But let's proceed because this is not the Stranger Things episode recap. This is Coheed and Cambria, and yeah, I admit that the cover kind of looks like that. I kind of get more like sci-fi video game console. But anyway, out of 5 stars, what would you give it?
I give it 3.5. It's definitely not a bad Coheed album by any stretch of the imagination. I see now, I'm just looking at some old album artwork for Coheed, and like Unheavenly Creatures as a great cover. I love that one.
I wasn't
Um,
even a huge fan of that, to be honest.
I mean that's a great cover. I like that cover. The one with Favorite House Atlantic. What was that? No World for Tomorrow.
Oh, I
What was
love.
that
Well,
one?
no, that wasn't. That was an earlier album.
No, I'm sorry. No, it is No World for Tomorrow. The one I'm thinking of. The one where the guy's
No, No
back is
World
to
for
the cover.
Tomorrow. Actually, in fun fact, so the guy who did, I forget his name. That's terrible because of what I'm about to say. The artist who did that cover did the Kiss Destroyer album artwork and Love Gun, I think, and he actually passed
Okay.
away recently. And
Mm.
Claudia did a lovely tribute to him, which is cool because again, that album I actually absolutely love. But continue.
No, but for some reason, like, I think you could have done so much more or gone simpler. Like, Good Apollo on Burning Star, just with the 4 on the cover. I mean, that makes a statement.
Well,
I
that
don't know. I don't
and
know.
and the actual cover also the Hangman. But I will also say, and again, I say this as a Coheed fan. I feel like nothing, not to take away from the cover artwork, but it's a little for a band that has a consistent storyline throughout most of their albums. I always found it odd that like this is not a level of consistency with the artwork, if
Yeah,
that makes
yeah,
sense.
it
And
does.
that's always thrown me in for a little bit of a loop.
Like, you're going really realistic sci-fi on the Unheavenly Creatures, and this one just looks like it's a movie poster for Stranger Things.
Actually, it
Um,
was like the Aftermath cover artwork for both Ascension and Descension.
it was okay. I take it or leave it. It isn't. But anyway, the music though.
Yes.
Um, I honestly, if I can just get a little bit more of, Ladders of Supremacy, and maybe a little bit more of Rise of Nyanasha. I'm hoping I'm saying that right.
Let
Maybe
us
I
know on
got,
Facebook, Twitter, Instagram if Matt is wrong.
but if I could get maybe a little bit more of those two songs, um, I I think that the album would be a little bit better off. But the electronics, they're okay. I mean, they keep it interesting, but they're just okay. I mean, the album could be so much better than what it was, but then again, it's nothing short of what you would expect from Coheed. If that makes any sense to anybody but me.
Well, you know what, Matt? Let's be real. It doesn't matter. Our opinions really mean jack squat. You know what really does matter? The times. So, Matt, what was the goal was to give the longest review in under 2 minutes. What was my score? What was my time?
Well, as we've known from past episodes, if you've been joining us, Zach sucks at this game, and he continues to suck because he is now at 2 minutes and 17 seconds.
That's not terrible.
Not terrible.
I've done worse.
Definitely not terrible, but, for Zach standards. But to win the game.
Well, congratulations then. I guess that means you won because you got it at 1 minute and 47 seconds. Congratulations.
There we go.
Congratulations. I hope you are happy.
I am. That was the whole point of the game.
Well, no, I mean, I'm genuinely happy that you're happy because, we're friends.
Aw.
Yeah, tender moment. But you know what? Do you agree with us? Do you think that we made any sense during these reviews? Were we right on the money, or do you completely disagree and we have our heads up our butts and we don't know what we're talking about? Let us know on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, at Epic Footnote. Also subscribe to our YouTube channel to hear more reviews like this, as well as a few other cool episodes, as well as maybe some cool videos. I don't know, maybe go check it out. And a special thank you to Lucky 13 Beard Co. Again, go to lucky13beardco.com, use the code EFP10 to get 10% off with your order of some amazing smelling beard oils, including our very own lemon-inspired beard oil. Also, thank you to Rootless Coffee, based out of Flint, Michigan. They produce some really great tasting coffee blends, and they also work with a lot of other cool different people, whether it's charities, local organizations, comic book artists, or even wrestlers like the famous Don Halson of AEW on their own coffee blends. So go to rootlesscoffee.com, use the code EPICROAST, all caps, to get 15% off your order for some really great tasting coffee that breaks free from boredom. Thank you so much for listening, and we hope you join us for another episode real soon.
See ya.